This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
This episode of the Check the Report podcast is brought to you by both the Legacy Football Organization and the Detroit Sports Commission. And the Legacy Football Organization is the newest sponsor of the DSP network. And the Legacy Football Organization was founded in 2009. It is the premier off-season development program in the state of Michigan, in the Midwest, and the entire U.S. of A. It provides unique platforms for student athletes on and off the football field through community service, social awareness, education, and football. And it features tons of former NFL players and collegiate stars on its staff, such as legendary Lions wide receiver Herman Moore, and a past guest of Two Bad Hombres in former Michigan State star linebacker and Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants, Greg Jones. To find out more about Legacy Football, please contact National Director of Football Justin Cesante or go to www.legacyfootballorg.com. And now to the Detroit Sports Commission, which has been bringing tons of marquee international and amateur sporting events to the Metro Detroit area since 2001. And to find out more about the Detroit Sports Commission and all of the events they are bringing to our very region, such as the Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic, which I'm hoping to work again next August, please follow the Detroit Sports Commission on Twitter and on Instagram at DET Sports. And make sure to check out the Detroit Sports Commission's terrific website at detroitsports.org.
Thank you for downloading another episode. This is the Check the Report podcast. I am the Doc, John Macaroon. Joining me in studio, Vito Jerome Churko. Thanks to the Detroit Sports Commission and the Legacy Football Organization for allowing this Check the Report podcast to happen. Well, the reason why we have this special edition being released this week is because of the fact the Detroit Lions are struggling. They're sitting at 3-6. You have basically the fans turning on the organization in large amounts. The fans of Detroit, of the Lions organization, are not happy, Vito. And what's the big problem? The fact that it's been damn near 50 years plus since the Lions have done anything of note in terms of playoff success, in terms of any chance of realistically winning the Super Bowl. And when you go out and you have a great GM like Bob Quinn, you go out and he's got this resume, being from New England, he comes in, he blows out the guy that was successful, getting the team into the postseason twice, and he brings his guy in. There should be a perceived notion that they should already have a good, decent working relationship. And I don't think anybody really thought that the Lions at this point in time would be sitting at 3-6. And the last 3 games that the Lions have played have been abysmal. And so the fans watching are pissed off and they're fed up. And week in, week out, when the Lions lose, our Twitter page at Detroit Podcast blows up. And so as a result of the last contest versus the Bears on the road, in which the Lions got down and trailed 26-0, and Mitch Trubisky looked a lot better than your $27 million a year quarterback, Matthew Stafford, people were pissed off. So, Vito, I'm clicking around Twitter, and I see this Click on Detroit piece, and it goes, some Lions fans have officially divorced the Lions. And we're going to talk to Christy Carpo in just a few minutes here, and she had basically said, I'm tired of this. Watching the Lions is not worth it anymore. I can't do it. We've been fans forever. We don't have any hope. We've lost hope. Christy's lost hope, and she reported officially divorcing the Detroit Lions, and she's now a supporter of the Chiefs. And so I saw that and said, oh no, we can't have this happening. We all got to suffer together. And so I wanted to dial up Christy and get her sense of how this happened, what's been her history being a Lions fan, and maybe, just maybe through the power of persuasion, the DOC will try to rescue a singular Detroit Lions fan and bring her back on the bandwagon. It's going to be a tough sell. I got a feeling that it's going to be tough via this phone call, but I look forward to dialing her up. Let's talk to Christy Carpo, a former fan of the Detroit Lions, who's now supporting the Chiefs as of this recording. Vito, what chances do you give me of convincing her at least maybe to watch a couple more Lions game and support the team?
Well, in a game of Big Vito's over-under, I'm going to say well under 50%. If the odds are set at 50.5, I'm going to say well under that, and I think they're slim to none. And you know what? There's only a couple of franchises in all of pro sports that are worth divorcing. I think of the Lions, too, right at the top of the list. And the Browns. Browns, Lions, who else would you mention? Really quick. I mean, those two teams scream at me as teams that you would divorce, eventually at least.
Maybe some would say the Giants. Yeah, like you said, Arizona.
The Jets, Arizona
Jets.
right now. There's a few NFL franchises, definitely, that you could say are worthy of divorcing, I think, at this point.
Maybe now in droves because of the fact of the massive contract, the Oakland Raiders and their struggles.
John Gruden, all that money over 10 years, or 1-8 now. They're abysmal. There's a few abysmal franchises. Major League Baseball, NFL, those we're talking NFL. So, yeah, Browns and Lions, 1-2, or you can flip-flop them for who you would divorce of those two first. But they're 1 and 2 for me.
All right, let's dial up Christy Carpo on this edition of Check the Report. Let's see if the DOC has the power of persuasion to get back a Lions fan. Let's see, Lions Nation. Stay with us. All right, Lions fans, as advertised, like I said, I was scrolling through Twitter, and I came across the Click on Detroit story that Christy Carpo and her family have officially divorced the Detroit Lions. And I'm here to talk to her today to kind of get her sense of what it's been like being a Lions fan, why at this point in time she's divorced the Lions, and maybe seeing about getting her back on the bandwagon. Christy, how are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing great. It's a great opportunity to connect with the fan. That's why I love this platform. And so I just want to get your sense before we talk about the way in which you've left us as being a Lions supporter. Prior to, this season, what has been your level of support for the Detroit Lions?
Okay, so I have legit been a fan for 25 years. I started watching the games with my dad at 5, like legitimately sitting down with the games, watching it, knowing all the moves, knowing all the players, knowing everything. I've been a diehard fan. I'll give you an example. When I met my husband, he invited me on a trip to Ohio to go to Cedar Point with him. And I told him I couldn't because we wouldn't be back on Sunday for the game. That's my level of fandom. So I've always been a diehard fan. I mean, I buy everything, know everything, always Team Lions. I've suffered with them 0-16. It sucked, but I still had the faith. I held on. But it just seems like it's never going to change.
So, yeah, obviously you've seen, things that just are unusual for football fans, in terms of seeing the Lions leading and then a Hail Mary. You've seen great players retire out of the blue. You've seen a season in which they did not win a game. And so you stuck with it, and you've been a Lions fan. Did you ever go down to Ford Field or the Silverdome?
Oh, yeah, all the time. We make at least one trip a year to go down there. We usually hit a divisional game, and we rotate the 3, like any typical fan. So, yeah, we've been out there quite a few times.
Now, do you think Matt Patricia is going to be around for the long term? Do you think he's the solution to the Lions' woes over the years? Because it seems like you don't believe that is true.
No, absolutely not. Matt Patricia isn't going to do anything else. He'll probably be here for 1, maybe 2 seasons, just like the rest. My honest opinion is that it's further up than that. It's the Ford family. They are the only common in this scenario. They're the only common thing year after year. We get new players, we draft new people, we get all these amazing picks. We just go, and we're all like hopeful, and nothing. Matt Patricia is going to change nothing. Clearly, look at that last game. The Vikings game was like the straw that bent the camel's back. 10 sacks. That's on Stafford. That's on the coaching staff. There's shitty play calling. It's a mess.
Yeah, it is. And, the Lions were 3-3. It looked like Patricia and the Lions were turning it around. They traded Tate. They're 3-6 now. And it looks like they're going nowhere at this point. And it sounds like you think that the Fords have to sell the franchise for the Lions to turn it around as a franchise. And Absolutely. If that doesn't happen, the Lions won't ever win.
Yep. Or they could give me a job as a coach.
And you could do better than Matt Patricia, you're saying, and Jim Caldwell.
Hell yeah. First female coach. I'll get that right ship shaped up.
There you go. I love it.
Now, Christy, I'll ask you this. It sounds like when you go to the games, you're probably screaming and yelling, maybe even cursing at some of the bad plays throughout the years. It sounds like you're a passionate Lions fan.
Oh, yes. Every Sunday is beer and screaming at the TV. That's a ritual. I mean, a lot of people are bashing me on social media. They're like, oh, it's just a game. It's not a lifestyle. Well, for us, it is. It's football. It's family. That's what we do. That's, every Sunday during football season, that is religion. That is church.
Okay, and so through the years, you've had hopes, you've had kind of, maybe even support for Matthew Stafford, maybe with the hiring and firing of new coaches, new staffs. Each year kind of allows us to get new hope for the Detroit Lions. But this particular season now has gone astray, and it's another year where the Lions are not likely to make the postseason. You've seen the last 3 games in which it hasn't been competitive, and so it seems like the Vikings game along with the Bears game has made you feel like, you know what? My time has come. I need to officially divorce the Detroit Lions. Why right now?
Absolutely. After that Vikings game, and this is so funny how all of this started because it was so innocent and so funny. My husband had sent me a text message on Monday morning, and he was like, babe, I think I'm done. And while we were watching the Minnesota game on Sunday, we kept turning it off and then, kept turning it back on. And it was just ridiculous. So he had sent me a text that Monday morning, and he was like, he's like, I think I'm done. He's like, I think I'm done. I'm like, are you sure? I was like, once you divorce them, you can't go back. You can't reheat McDonald's fries. It's the same thing as going back to an ex. You just can't do it. And so he's like, fuck it, send it. So we just decided, and then that's what started it. So I was like, all right, let's get rid of our gear. So I put that post up on Facebook Marketplace, and it just went crazy. And then the next thing I knew, the news was here.
Did you think the reaction would be as intense as it was just by divorcing the Detroit Lions?
No, not at all. I did not expect this to happen at all.
No, I can understand. I mean, you're getting Facebook messages from podcasters, the news, the free press. You're like, oh my God, what have I done? And I think here's part of the reason why is that as a fan base, and here's why I reached out to you, because as a fan base, and I can appreciate your passion and your loyalty to the Lions over the years, for sure. We've all suffered together. We've all had the same amount of hope. We've all wanted to cheer along the Detroit Lions. We've all wanted to get that sense of camaraderie, to be together and support our hometown team. But I can get a sense that when you do the same things over and over and over again, getting up only to be disappointed every single year is really hard. And so I can understand your frustrations. And so I think people, when we say the word fan, definitely it's short for fanatic. And there are people who maybe even prior to you divorcing the Lions would critique you and call you a bad fan, because there are some people who actually believe that you're supposed to give undying loyalty to a team no matter what they do, and people like us get criticized for, hammering Matthew Stafford or being critical of the Ford family or the coaching. But I think that the reason why you got such a strong reaction was the fact that you took on another team. You've changed your loyalties now to another franchise.
Yes.
And why the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, my husband's always been a Chiefs fan because I was very loyal. I was like that. There was no talking crap about Stafford. There was no, people would say, oh, this and this. And I'm like, just shut up. It doesn't matter. They're the Lions. We expect this. You got to love them. You got to love them through everything. My husband's always had a side team. Okay. And I had a side team too. I've always been a Brady fan because with the Lions, you got to win sometimes, right? Football's got to be fun. So that was always his number 2 team. So when we decided to do this, because I took this like a relationship, the Lions have been, like I said, it's family to me. So that's why I called it a divorce. It had to be. We had to get out of that toxic relationship. I mean, Sunday football was getting to the point where, like, at the end of the night on Sunday, me and my husband are both mad. What fun is that?
So you have a side piece in the Patriots. Your husband's side piece is the Chiefs. Now you're turning to the Chiefs and fandom for the Chiefs, and they're looking terrific. Patrick Mahomes is terrific to watch. People are hyping him up already, saying he's one of the top 3 best passers in the game today, much better than Matt Stafford already. And Stafford has had all these years of experience under center for the Lions, and people are turning on him left and right. Did you turn on him before you divorced the Lions?
Absolutely not. I was 100% loyal up until we decided to make this move. I have always had faith in Stafford. I do think that he's an outstanding quarterback. I just think he doesn't have the support needed through the organization to be what he needs to be.
Now, could you go back to the Lions and love again? Could you love the Lions again at some point in your life?
Nope, absolutely not. I told my husband, I even sent him a message. I was like, we can't go back. Like, let's say that if this blew up, like all this right now, my best friend messaged me and she's like, you're probably going to help them. Somebody's going to see this and maybe this is what sparks them to be better. It doesn't matter. Good for them if they do that. I am done. This is like we talk about loyalty and fans. This is loyal. I am done with that. I am on another, and I am 100% loyal to the Chiefs now.
What's interesting being a Chiefs supporter is that, you and your husband have obviously seen success, and you got a coach there in Andy Reid who's taken good teams into the playoffs, and with a quarterback that, it's really interesting because at this point in time, being a Lions fan, I would love to be the Chiefs. Even getting into the postseason with 10, 11 wins and having heartbreak would be amazing. But being a Chiefs fan might not be so rewarding because they're a franchise. If you look at their history, they've also had some heartbreak in terms of not getting over the hump.
They have, but as an organization, if you look at them throughout the years, they would, they'd have a shitty couple years or whatever, but then they bounce back. And it's a cycle. They bounce back, they do good, they suck for a little bit, but at least they come back. When have we came back? My husband asked me this question the other day, and it really stopped me in my tracks. He's like, what has the Lions ever done for us as fans? And it stopped me because I had to think about it. And I'm like, fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing. They don't put in the drive. I mean, the team sucks. We don't get to go to a game and expect to win. Yet your ticket prices have gone up. Built this huge stadium for what? To go watch somebody lose? They've never given back. I feel like I'm not feeling the love.
Not a rewarding relationship. No mutual love and affection. And John and I, we try to kill the Lions curse. We try to do it with George Lopez. He came to a local church in Detroit. We went there, Doc and I, and it led to nothing. So we couldn't even get it done. I don't know who can get it done. Now, you and your Lions gear, have you gotten rid of every single item of Lions gear that you did possess?
Yes.
You have at this point. Okay. Did you burn any of it, by the way, or you just sold all of it?
No. The newscaster actually asked me, she's like, do you think this is a waste of money? And I was like, absolutely not. Because when I bought it, that was our loyalty. We supported our team.
Okay, so now here's my official opportunity with one or two questions to maybe bring you back, or maybe even if we can get you maybe on hold, maybe just to forego this season and with renewed hope, potentially speaking, come back. Now, here's the first reason why I think maybe you shouldn't divorce the Lions. Maybe it's just a trial separation. Okay, here's why a trial separation might be okay, because I think a divorce means it's done. And with the Detroit Lions, you now got to look at it maybe in your perception. It's only year one of Matt Patricia. And when Bill Belichick started with the Patriots, his first season, he only won 5 or 6 games. They got a decent draft pick, and they went out and got Richard Seymour, a guy that became a staple of that defense. And so if you look at it as only year one of Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, you kind of are starting to see some players emerge like Kenny Galladay, like the running back, and you have an opportunity to maybe just say that it's going in an upward direction based on defense, which has been known to win championships. It just doesn't come overnight. And I had written a piece prior to when the season started and said, look, you know what? If the Lions tank this year, only win 5 games, and get rid of a lot of the garbage players and bring in a lot more of the Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia players, there's an opportunity because you did watch the Detroit Lions defeat Green Bay and New England in a fashion that was pretty impressive, can't you say?
Well, yeah. Here's the thing, though. Okay, we can beat New England, but we can't beat the Vikings. They stomp all over us. That's a divisional game. That's what's important. I don't care about the Patriots when it comes down to it. That's not what we need to do. And what? You want me to sit here and wait another year? Let me tell you, I didn't watch them this past Sunday, and my team won. My team's going to be a playoff team first year in. I'm so excited. I don't get that with the Lions. What has it been? 93? Wasn't that the last year we win playoffs? And then if we do make playoffs, what do we do? 1 game, we're done.
Yeah, 1990.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, 1991 was the last time in which we defeated the Cowboys, the only playoff victory. Okay, so that one didn't do it for you. Now,
Nope.
okay, I'll say this. Okay, now you're looking at the Detroit Lion fan base and you realize, okay, we're all suffering. You're part of that suffering. You've been through the highs and lows. You're willing to walk away from family, friends, all who will be tailgating and supporting the Detroit Lions. You're willing to walk away from the community in which you live in, the fan base in which your friends and family support. You're willing to walk away from free and clear and don the red instead of the Honolulu blue and silver.
I am. I'm already taking the crap. You should see my inbox. I have hate mail.
I was going to say, what's the worst messages? What are the worst ones that you've received from these fans?
I'm getting called a traitor-ass weak bitch.
Oh, my God.
Let's see. I don't know anything about loyalty. Oh, God, it's hilarious. I'm sitting here like, I'm an attention-seeking traitor.
So everything in the book. Oh, my God.
Like basically.
A lot of madness there. A lot of slights towards you now. If the Ford family were to reach out to you to try to reverse the course for you, to return your fandom to the Lions, could that work out? Would it be feasible then for you to reverse the course on your divorcing of the Lions?
Only if I'm offered a job. I'm serious.
Only if you're offered a job.
I am only going back if I have control of it. If I can sit in a seat and make them do good.
Okay, Christy, I give you credit. It doesn't look like you're coming back.
Yeah, we're not going to win her back.
I think,
it's not going to happen here, Doc.
Okay, you've got the settlement. You've divorced the Lions. So I'll give you this platform then to do this, okay? Because, like I said, I said I would try to get you back, and I kind of had a feeling it wasn't going to be that great, and I'm not that great of a persuader anyway because we go back and forth all the time. I will admit I will not give up my fandom. I'm a Detroit guy. It's not going to happen. But if there is somebody that's teetering that wants to maybe divorce the Detroit Lions, I will give you the platform to say whatever you want to bring people to your side. Why should people, if they're teetering with the Lions organization, why should they just cut the cord and just be effing done with the Lions?
Bring your happy back to football. Bring it back to the Barry Sanders era when you watched a great running back, when we actually won games. My poor dad, they won the Super Bowl in 57. He was born in 58. It's never going to happen, people. Never. You're not going to see it in your lifetime. You're not going to see it in your kid's lifetime. It's not going to happen. It's going to keep going with the same. I highly advise everyone to take their football happy back.
And the Lions have never been to a Super Bowl. That was in 1957, actually an NFL championship.
Right.
So think about that. Now,
right,
Kerryon Johnson doesn't excite you then? I mean, I guess he doesn't. None of these young guys on the Lions excite you at all, huh?
No, he's a phenomenal player. But, I mean, we got Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, Mahomes.
There's more on the Chiefs, more firepower there. And, almost has come to this. I'm dealing with a sore throat. I mean, what's worse, watching the Lions or dealing with the sore throat? It's pretty close at this point, it seems like.
Right?
Yeah, it's gotten pretty bad. Pretty darn bad.
So we've had the opportunity to spend a few minutes with Christy Carpo. Wow, guys, you can hear the excitement, the passion back in her voice.
She brings it, man, to the table, big time.
Wow, and she's a Chiefs fan. She's got a quarterback that's thrown for over 30 touchdowns, a coach that's been to a Super Bowl, that is going to be in a situation in which the Chiefs also have a great Monday night matchup coming up.
Yep,
main
I can't
event.
wait.
How are you going to enjoy the Monday night matchup?
Sitting at home in the comfort in my PJs, screaming at the TV with my husband.
Chiefs Rams this Monday night.
Yes, Chiefs Rams. We're gonna we gotta get number 2 for those Rams.
Must watch on Monday night.
Goff is amazing, but no.
Christy, thank you so much for your time. Look,
you too.
I think that, you being a passionate NFL supporter, we'd love to have future conversations. And if we can link up again, we'd love to have a more thorough conversation, and talking football and talking Lions and things like that in the future in the office. I love your passion. Keep it going. Never lose it. I got your number now. I think we developed a relationship with a strong female football supporter. You can't have too many of those. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, John. You guys take care.
Thank you. Keep the fire, keep the passion. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye, Christy. I thought I might have had a chance of getting her support, but holy cow, man. Not going to happen.
No, not going to happen. You couldn't do any kind of persuasion, coercing. There was nothing to be done to get her back on the Lions team. She has changed teams, man, and she has gone, long gone. with their Lions fandom, converting it to Chiefs fandom, and she is excited, man, about Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offensive attack. There's Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt. They've got the Rams on Monday Night Football, all this excitement. And what? The Chiefs are 9-1, the Rams are 9-1. The most exciting matchup in all of football all this season up to this point, and they play against each other on Monday night. And a fun factoid about Patrick Mahomes and how great he's been in his first year under center for the Chiefs. 31 touchdowns, I believe. His amount of passing touchdowns is a single-season Chiefs record already. We're 10 games. They're 10 games through the season. They have more season to play, as my voice is like giving out and elevating levels because of my sore throat here. I mean, you can see my excitement and my passion. She brought the passion and excitement about Mahomes. And like I said, he is setting Chiefs franchise marks this season. In his first year under center, then we have Matt Stafford after all these years, who I still like and support. But man, he has not cut the mustard seed this season under center for the Lions. And the Lions haven't gotten it done nearly enough when they could have beaten some teams. In week 1, could have beaten a team in the New York Jets on Monday Night Football. How about the Seahawks could have won that game at home? You lay an egg against the Bears. I mean, against your divisional foes, too, throughout the course of this season. Hasn't looked good for Matt Patricia and company, and people are starting to turn their backs already on Patricia and the Lions. But at least for me, I'm not ready to divorce the Lions as of yet. Not like Christy. But Christy, man, she really went there, and she has fully divorced the Lions, Doc.
She's fully divorced the Detroit Lions, and she's convincing. You see the passion in her voice?
She brought it, man. She brought it big time.
Okay, Vito, I got to ask, in our remaining couple minutes here, is it worth it to be a Lions fan? I think Adam and I talked about it a little bit in that we've all gone through the suffering together. We all have that hope. I still have a little bit of faith in Bob Quinn, being that he has experience. I'm still on the bandwagon, but I'm definitely a hypercritical fan, and I've experienced some of the fans that are like, you're too negative. The fanboys over there at Pride of Detroit, they obviously...
Please. It's get off my lawn almost to those guys, right? Too much fandom there.
They're great, but it does slant a little bit too much in the positive, and sometimes they got their blinders on in terms of some of the challenges. But it's okay. I like what they do, and you can't have fun sports debates if everybody has the same opinion. So I definitely give credit to the guys at Pride of Detroit. They've built something, so that's always something you give credit for. But for me, I take an objective look at the Lions in a way in which I look at it and I go, how is this team trending toward a Super Bowl? And right now, they're not trending in that direction, but I don't think it's enough for me to jump off the bandwagon. So it's a situation in which it's tough being a Lions fan. You've now seen the passion. You've seen the lady supporters just jump off, and what a team to jump onto, the Chiefs. Man.
Easy to ride them now because they're doing so well. And I don't like people, sorry, Christy, but jumping on the bandwagon. But she did say, I'll give her this much, too, in her defense. Her husband's side piece, as I labeled it when discussing everything with Christy, she did say that her husband has always rooted on the Chiefs as his second favorite team. So that's why she's jumping on the bandwagon, per se, with the Chiefs now, who are exciting. I mean, highly exhilarating to watch. No doubt about it, Doc.
Unbelievable situation, man.
But I'm not jumping off the cliff, though. Now, I'm hypercritical, too, and I'm starting to turn more and more on Stafford. I loved him a lot more than you coming into the season, and I'm not totally against Matt Stafford at this point like you are. You want to get rid of him, and you think the Lions are better off without him. I'm not totally over there on that side of the road yet, but I'm getting closer and closer, and I really appreciate and really took into account what Rich Gannon had to say about Matt Stafford. It's looking more and more like Rich Gannon had something credible there, and I never had thought of it like that, Doc, and analyzed it in that manner that, you know what, he has to do so much in the fourth and has had the great fourth quarter comebacks as Lions quarterback because he's been so stinko in the first 3 quarters of action. So Rich Gannon's points there have really had an effect on me and have made me start thinking more and more about Stafford maybe not being this extremely effective guy and the guy that will lead the Lions to the promised land one day.
So on this edition of Check the Report, we've established that Christy Carpo and her husband have divorced the Detroit Lions. No more, they're no longer fans. They can't jump on the bandwagon. They've said it. They've become Chiefs fans. And it's a little bit easier when you already have a team. I've never had a team. I've never really supported or liked another team. I definitely like strong offensive teams like the Saints, now the Rams. I'd like to watch it, and I'm invested a little bit more in it, but I give my undying, right now, football loyalty to the Lions. I still am, but I just love giving the platform to somebody somebody that wanted to maybe jump off the bandwagon, and it happened. So, interesting.
Well, I can see because the Lions are 3-6, 3 straight losses. They've been stinko. Stafford's been stinko. Maybe his career worst season as Lions quarterback. I mean, look at that. Patricia's not doing anything right now to turn around the franchise. Next year's a huge year, though, For Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn, the Lions organization, I think maybe for Patricia and Quinn both to keep their jobs.
Thank you so much, Vito, for joining me. I know you came in a little bit under the weather, but you're a trooper, and I think you enjoyed the conversation with Christy as much as I did.
I did.
The passion of a lady talking football, really nothing like it. I hope to have an opportunity again to talk to her. That was really fun.
Thank you, Christy, and adios to everybody tuning into this edition of the Check the Report podcast.